Hi everyone, week 5. This week, the discussion post for Outstanding Women, Leaders in Social Change. I chose Nang Fu Wang. Um, Nang Fu Wang was born in a really rural farming community in China, and her name actually means man. Nan means man, and Fu means pillar, because her family thought that they wanted her to grow up strong like a man because women weren't valued in China in 1985 when she was born. Um, Her original documentary, so she ended up, her father actually dies when she's really young. Um, he was only 33 and she was only 12 when he died, and she actually had to quit school to help her mom support her family. And because she did actually have a little brother as well. But because she was older, she was able to do that. And since that, her family couldn't really afford to send her to secondary school, so she went to a vocational school, and she ended up becoming a teacher. And while she was a teacher, she ended up um, continuing her education, like through a continuing education program. Her first documentary was called Hooligan Sparrow, and she was really interested in sex workers at the time because she knew a few, and there was a lot of things that she was really interested in: healthcare and just education system, and just in general a lot of things of concern. I think probably like many of us, I know there's like a million topics that I know I could go after, and it was actually difficult upon doing this. I could see so much need, and it was difficult for this class to actually focus on one thing. But she did focus on how the government was taking advantage and exploiting women sexually, and it actually made her a target by the government, and she actually ended up coming to America. I couldn't access Hooligan Sparrow documentary, which I'm really sad that I had missed it when it was on Netflix, because it was definitely something that I probably would have watched. But Amazon Prime happened to have another one of her documentaries um, that I watched. It was called One Child Nation, and it was just incredible. I think she was faced with her own history that um, her parents decided they wanted to have a second child, and it was actually said that if her brother was born a girl, they would have left it of the basket, left him out, like just got rid of him. And she ends up learning some history about her uncle who ends up having a second child and leaves that child just out in the wild. And then the child ended up getting so buggy and nobody took the child, and the poor baby died. And there's just stories that she talked to about the propaganda and the policy of China of only having one child, to the fact that women were forcefully sterilized, and babies ripped from their womb, and forced deliveries, and some even killed. And then she even goes even into really depth about the government stealing babies from people and actually putting them up for adoption. I mean, I was just like, wow, when I watched this documentary, just really intense in that she was able to interview her family members, and at times the documentary got very emotional. At points, it actually got pretty emotional for me as well. And towards the end, she actually kind of states the irony of being born in a country that kind of forces abortion and sterilization to America, where we actually have some restrictions on abortion. And just kind of interesting. It's interesting to me that this whole assignment about outstanding women and basically, let's just say, empowering women happened with the controversy of this halftime show with J-Lo and Shakira. The funny thing is, I saw it and I didn't really question a lot of it because I'm actually an avid Zumba. I'm a Zumba instructor, and I probably do about 50 or 100 body rolls a day. So I'm kind of always shaking my stuff. There were some like quirky things I was like, ooh, that looks a little like S&M that I noticed, but I don't think that I would have really thought about it much after until, social media is just blowing up about this. And it seems that there's two camps where everyone's like so proud of them. And I don't necessarily say I would be super proud of them. I'm not sure how empowering it is. Um, and anyway, and then the other camp is just like, this was horrible that they posted, had this, and, sex trafficking is going on, and these women are just using their sexuality. And that really puts me in a weird place because I was like thinking, here I am about to start this support group for pornography addicts and their spouses or significant others dealing with that addiction and healing and having healthy sexual relationships. And I'm wondering if people are, so upset is because we're kind of faced with our own sexuality. And what does that mean? What does it mean to be an empowered woman? Is it degrading if we use our sexuality? So honestly, I don't know how I feel about the whole thing, and I don't know which camp. I don't feel like I fit into either camp of saying that it was, totally horrific sexually. I mean, knowing what there is out there for pornography, I feel like that show was pretty vanilla, not even close to vanilla. And that's just a lack for me having an actual way to define it. But I do understand people saying, is it really empowering women if we're using our sexuality? And maybe women are at a point where they want to be bold about it. I'm not sure. So it's interesting that we each find our thing and we understand the power of what makes us us as women. We could use our sexuality. I don't know. But Nanfu Wang is an amazing person that went after something and exposed it. And I do believe that the hardcore pornography is definitely something that I want to go after. And maybe this just showed me that people don't really realize what their kids or their husbands may be watching if they were super scandalized by the halftime show. And I wonder why I wasn't even really all that fazed by it. So either way, Nanfu Wang and the halftime show, or how we use our power as women, what it means to be empowered, what it means to be leaders, what it means to be outstanding, is a lot of food for thought this week. So I will see how that applies, and I will continue to reflect. And I hope we all finish strong, which I know we will. I'm very impressed by all of your projects, and I know each one of us is going to be outstanding in our own way.